This is the story of a little man. He lives in an ordinary street, like this one. He has a routine job, an average kind of mind. There are millions just like Henry Paulson. A little man with problems, with hopes, and fears, and a wife.
Henry?
Yes, dear?
How long are you going to be with the team?
Coming, dear.
Well, it's about time. Henry!
Yes, dear.
Did you spill it?
No, dear. Here you are, dear.
Oh, put it down there.
Paper?
You'll be late if you don't get a move on.
Yes, dear, I know.
What are you looking for?
My handkerchiefs.
They are in the airing cupboard in the kitchen. I ironed 2 of them yesterday and a shirt.
All right, I'll make do with the one I've got.
Hope so, the way you get through them. Breaks my back, standing over that ironing board. Oh, for goodness sake, do hurry. Now what you looking for?
Oh, it's all right, dear. I've got it.
And you wonder why you're only a cashier.
Chief cashier, dear?
There's only one, isn't there?
Yes. Well, I'll be getting along.
Well, don't leave the kitchen untidy.
No, no, dear.
And leave the door open in case there's a knock.
Yes, dear.
Did you let the cat out?
Yes, dear.
What time will you be home?
Usual time, dear.
I'll leave something cold in case I'm not in.
Right, dear. Goodbye, dear.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Come in, will you, Paulson?
Yes, sir.
I have some news for you.
Have you, sir?
Yes. Here we are. Read that.
Thank you, sir. As you know, the board have been considering candidates for the managership of the Fulham branch. We are pleased to accept your advice in respect of Mr. Henry Paulson.
Yes, you've been selected.
Good gracious.
Surprised you, eh? Congratulations, Paulson.
Thank you very much, sir. I must say this is a surprise.
I expect Mrs. Paulson will be pleased. Why don't you give her a ring?
No, sir.
Why not?
I don't expect you to be up yet. I mean, I expect you to be pretty busy, sir. Perhaps later.
Good. Give her my regards.
I will indeed, sir.
She must call on Mrs. Gender sometime.
She'd be delighted, sir. Well, I must get along now. I haven't opened the safe yet. I was a little bit late this morning. I mean, not so early as usual. Excuse me, sir.
Well, another day.
Yes. Shall we make a start?
Sure. Only 7 more days, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember that application I put in for the African police?
Yeah?
Well, they jumped at me. In the next 6 months, I'll travel more miles than you will in a lifetime.
Well, that wouldn't be difficult, would it? Ah, sounds exciting. You're a very lucky fellow. I wish I was your age.
Never too late.
So they say. Thank you.
Oh, what's this? You all right?
Yes, yes. I'm all right.
You've had one or two of those lately, haven't you? Seen a doctor?
Yes, yes, it's nothing serious.
No, it's all right, I'll take this. You gave me quite a turn. I thought you were going to pass out.
The X-ray shows that your heart is very enlarged. In simple language, it's been overworking for a number of years, pumping out blood, drawing on reserves of strength, and every now and again it reaches a peak of exhaustion, resulting in these dizzy spells. So that now...
It's what you suspected.
I'm afraid so. Any overexcitement or undue strain might
Might mean that I
Precisely.
see.
Of course, if you could retire and take great care.
I'm afraid I can't. I'm some years off retirement age.
That's a pity.
Doctor, how long have I got?
If you don't overdo it, possibly 2 years.
Oh,
Of course, if you'd like another opinion,
not really.
what are you going to do? Go on working?
Yes, I suppose so. You know, I've often wondered what I'd do if I knew my days were numbered.
Yes.
You see, Doctor, I've led a very dull life. The bank, coming home, getting up in the morning, like completing a circuit and starting all over again. I do wish it wasn't too late.
For what?
To get out of the rut, to travel, to live.
I'm afraid this isn't a very good time to start.
No.
Well, continue with the peloton. 3 drops in the event of an attack, but no more, whatever you do.
Thank you, Doctor, for telling me the truth.
I'm sorry it had to be like that.
Yes, dear.
I never knew a man like you. If you carry on at the bank the way you do at home, I wonder they put up with you at all. As a matter of fact, I wonder how I do. Head in the clouds, dreaming away. Get the time, get to work late. What you were like when you didn't have me behind you, goodness knows. As poor mother always used to say, lose his head if it was loose. Well, of course, if I'd taken father's advice and married Cyril Conway, I'd be a millionaire by now. I'd be hung with diamonds. Oh, Henry, for goodness sake, go to sleep. Henry! The alarm! Henry! Henry! Didn't you hear the alarm?
Yes.
Oh, for goodness sake, Henry!
What's that?
Go and make the tea.
Go and make it yourself.
What?
You don't squawk at me, woman. You heard what I said. If you want the tea, go and make it. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Paulson.
Mr. Gender's in.
10 minutes ago.
Good.
Come in.
Extraordinary. I've never known him so late.
Never known him so cheerful.
Poor old devil. I don't suppose he gets much fun.
Time not very long ago when I felt there was nothing more I wanted than to be a manager. In fact, I felt I made rather a good one.
Do you seriously mean to tell me you're going to decline this offer?
Yes, sir, quite definitely.
May I ask why?
I'd rather not say, if you don't mind.
I suppose you know what you're doing, Paulson.
Yes, sir.
I think in your own interests, you should take a little more time to consider this.
It won't be necessary.
Well, if you should change your mind,
I'll let you know immediately, sir. Thank you.
5 o'clock. Cross off another day, Paulson.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, and you get into Paris Gare du Nord at 10:15. That gives you over an hour to catch the Caen Express from the Gare de Lyon.
Thank you.
But it's pretty good for the time of year, sir, so you should have a nice trip.
I hope so. The connections are fairly reliable, I suppose.
Very reliable, sir.
Thank you. The Caen Express does stop at Marseille.
Of course. Your train is in Victoria at 2 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nothing you want me for, is there, Paulson?
No, sir, thank you.
I wonder if you mind locking up. I'm playing golf this afternoon, so I thought I'd get off early.
Of course.
You haven't changed your mind about...
No, sir.
Pity. Well, see you on Monday.
Goodbye, sir. You can leave this to me. I'll work it out.
For sure?
Sure.
Good. Well, I'll just about make my train. Have a nice weekend.
Thanks.
I'll leave the outside door.
Hello? Yes, this is the manager speaking. I'm sorry, madam, we're closed, you see. Hello, Paulson. What the... Paulson! Paulson! Paulson, what are you doing? Give me the police. Quickly, please.
I haven't had time to get a ticket.
All right, get it on the train.
departure. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Miss Gentleman. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Have you a single room?
Just for yourself, sir?
Yes, please.
How long do you expect to stay, Mr...
Oh, Lawton.
Mr. Lawton? Joseph, take this gentleman's case, please.
No, I can manage.
No trouble,
Really,
sir.
I'd much rather.
Your first visit to Eastbourne, Mr. Lawton?
Yes, I just got in.
And how is London? Warmer than it is here, I hope?
Yes, it was. Getting very warm when I left.
Here we are, facing the sea. On a clear day, if you stand on tiptoe, you can see the little boats bobbing about in the bay. It's really quite an enchanting view.
Yes, this will suit me very nicely.
And now, oh, good afternoon, Mrs. Larkin. Nice rest, Miss Ackroyd? Yes, thank you. This is Mr. Lawton, who is coming to join our little family. Miss Ackroyd, Mr. Lawton. Miss Ackroyd is one of our longest residents.
How do you do?
How do you do? And my name is Mrs. Larkin. See you presently, Miss Ackroyd. Ah, yes, terms. 6 guineas per week, including full board and use of the bath. Is that satisfactory?
Oh, yes. Quite, thank you.
Splendid. The bathroom and toilet adjoin at the end of the corridor, round the corner to the left. Oh, and the flush is inclined to stick slightly. Don't force it. Just give it a slow, firm pull.
Little boats bobbing about in the bay.
Good evening. Have you found a practice yet, Dr. Forrest?
Yes, I think I'm onto one now, thank you.
Good.
Evening, Mr. Piggott.
Evening, Miss Ackroyd.
We're just one happy little family. This is Dr. Forrest and Mrs. Forrest.
How do
Mr.
you do,
Lawton,
sir?
who is
How do
coming
you
to
do?
join our little throng. A new arrival in our circle, Miss Jenkins? Both very deaf, never mind. Miss Ackroyd you've met, and I'm sure she won't mind you joining her.
Not at all.
Well, I'll leave you now. There's some nice cold pork for you tonight. We always have cold on Saturdays.
Just down from London?
Yes.
Didn't travel down with the missing bank cashier, I suppose?
It says in my paper that he was seen at Victoria.
I believe to have been seen, I think it says. Yes, that's it. Got his description here, too. 50 or thereabouts, walrus moustache, stocky, 35 years service and not a stain on his character. I was just saying to Dr. Forrest, if he walked in this minute, I'd be the first to shake him by the hand. My name's Piggott, by the way. How do you do, sir?
How do you do?
Really don't know why you admire him.
He's got courage, that's why. Put yourself in that man's position. He's been leading a blameless life for something like 50 years.
54.
54. How do you know?
Oh, it mentions his age in my paper.
All right. Suddenly he says to himself, what am I doing? What have I done? Have I been anywhere? Not on your life. Take a look round this place. We are half dead. But Paulson, he'll be sunning himself in the south of France midday tomorrow, and jolly good luck to him.
Thanks very much. Oh, yes, I speak, sir.
How much do you need, darling?
I won't know till I see Dr. Maitland again. Quite a big practice.
You're not thinking of buying him out.
Oh, no. No, even a junior partnership's more than I can afford. Anyway, don't you worry about it. Won't you come in, sir?
Don't let me interrupt you. I only want to find myself a book.
There's quite a good selection of books.
Thank you.
Well, anyway, I said to the vicar, why not have the children's party here at the Eastcote Hotel? It'll liven the place up a bit.
Of course, I quite agree. Will you still be here, Dr. Forrest?
Oh, yes, I think so.
Good. What about you, Mr. Paulson?
Yes, I...
Good heavens, what did I call you?
You called him Mr. Paulson.
I am so sorry. Now, what on earth made me do that?
Perhaps I reminded you of somebody.
Yes, that's what
No,
it
I
is.
think it's just that I've had this wretched bank clock on my brain all night for some peculiar reason.
Oh, slip of the tongue. Don't take it too seriously, Lawton. We won't call the police.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Aren't you staying for coffee?
No, I won't, thanks. It keeps me awake. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Coffee, Lawton?
No, thank you.
Pity we can't induce Miss Ackroyd to drink coffee instead of, old girl's a bit of a tippler, you know.
I can't believe it.
She is. I've seen her at it. Left her bedroom door open the other day as I was passing, and there she was, swigging away like a trooper.
I think you're exaggerating, Mr.
Oh,
Fitch.
no, I'm not. Retired, Lawton?
Yes, I've retired.
What sort of work?
Civil service.
Go on, so was I. Borough Council?
No.
Ah.
Railways.
Big executive, I expect.
Not really. I think if you'll excuse me, I'll get along. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. Lawton.
Mr. Lawton.
Oh, Mr. Lawton. Somebody's probably forgotten their key, Mr. Lawton. I wonder if you'd be so kind.
Resident here, sir?
Yes?
Landlord?
No, I'm not the landlord. The lady who...
Guest?
Yes.
Good. I represent the local constabulary. Would you care for a ticket for the policeman's ball, sir? It's for charity, sir.
Why, yes, of course. I'll have half a dozen.
Thank you very much, sir. That'll be 15 bob. Oh,
That's all right.
oh, thank you very much, sir. I'll put it in the box. Good night, sir.
Good night.
Kind hearts are more than coronets, Mr. Lawton.
Yes. Good night.
Good.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Filthy, isn't it? My name's Johnson. I'd like a room if you've got one to spare.
Just for yourself, sir.
I said my name was Johnson, not Smith. Yes, just myself, please.
Perhaps you would be good enough to sign the register, would you, sir? I'll see if I can find the porter for your baggage. He's at the back chopping me some wood for the front. This gentleman's bag to room 11, please. And how is London, sir? Warmer than it is here, I hope.
No, just the same. Raining cats and dogs.
Oh. And how long do you expect to stay in our little circle, Mr. Johnson?
Well, I can't say exactly. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for somebody. That's confidential, by the way.
Of course, I quite understand. Here we are, facing the sea. On a clear day, if you stand on tiptoe, you can see the little boats bobbing about in the bay. It's really quite an enchanting view. And now terms, Mr. Johnson.
So sorry to bother you, Mr. Lawton.
It's quite all right.
I wonder if you've got such a thing as a corkscrew.
Yes, I think I have a small one here.
See, I'm trying to open a bottle of medicine.
Oh, yes, here.
You know, I used to have this room. I'm afraid you'll find it rather chilly. Oh, thank you so much. I will return it. And do you mind not mentioning this to anyone about the corkscrew? I mean, people talk, you know, and they might draw the wrong conclusions.
I won't breathe a
Thank
word.
you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Oh, and the flush is inclined to stick slightly. Don't force it, just give it a slow, firm pull.
Oh, could you oblige me with the light?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, you can have them.
Oh, thank you. Been here long?
No, not very.
Has this place got a license?
No, I don't think they have.
Know any good pubs?
I'm afraid I don't.
Oh, I suppose there must be something approaching civilization. You leaving?
No, I was just going to the off-license, but I changed my mind.
Oh. Okay, see you later.
What train are you catching, darling?
12 o'clock. Nearly ready.
Good. I'll come to the station.
Here we are. Drop this into the post on your way back, would you?
Well, I hope you saw him off, all right?
I'd rather you didn't sit down.
Oh, it's a free country, you know.
Alec, that was my husband you saw me with.
Fine. You must introduce us sometime. He's gone away, hasn't he? You go ahead and order, don't mind me.
Cup of coffee, please. Nothing to eat? No.
Surprised to see me?
Very.
Full remission for being a good boy.
What do you want?
All nicely settled down and married, eh? Doctor, too. You've done well for yourself. Be a pity if he found out about us, wouldn't it? I mean, a doctor's got to be so careful, you know. It's terrible what a little bit of scandal can do, especially when they're starting. Oh, and the way those old dears talk. You'd think they'd have something else better to do, wouldn't you? Of course, once they learn that their local GP has married a woman with a past, might as well shut up shop.
What do you want, Alec?
You know, the rotten thing about prison life is that they don't pay you any salary there. Well, they give you a few bob when you leave, but that's all. Rotten system, isn't it? It means that a man's got to rely on the generosity of a few old friends till he gets on his feet. I could do with £50 right now.
I haven't any money.
No. By the way, you remember those letters you wrote to me while we were courting?
Yes.
I came across them the other day. They cheered me up no end.
So you want £50 for them?
Oh, no, don't put it like that. Makes it sound like blackmail.
Have you another name for it?
No. That's not like my little Claire. Let's say that you're going to make me an offer, shall we? Only make it before your old man gets back. See you later. Too loud for anybody?
Not at all.
Jazz always sounds better when it's played loud. You sort of get the feeling for it.
I doubt if I would.
No?
I really prefer classical music.
Do you?
No one listening to that muck, I suppose.
Mr. Johnson was.
Oh, my apologies, Mr. Johnson.
That's quite all right.
My name's Piggott.
How do you do?
Staying here long?
Oh, just a few days.
Business, I suppose.
Yes, more or less.
What line are you in?
Well, as a matter of fact, I've got a big sheep farm in Australia, you know.
Really? Sheep farming, eh?
Turning in?
No, I'm going to get a glass of water.
I wash.
What?
She's gone up for a sly nip.
Go on.
Drinks like a fish. Never think so, would you?
I wouldn't have dreamt it.
Plenty of lolly, though.
Really? Who's the old boy?
Retired. Railway executive. Pretty big noise, I believe.
Good morning, Mr. Lawton. Second gong for breakfast.
I'm sorry, I'm late. I'll just take one of these.
Morning, Lawton.
Good morning. Oh, just coffee and nothing to eat, thank you.
Face seems familiar.
Oh. If you're going into town, I'll give you a lift in the car, if you like.
Oh, thank you. That'd be nice. I didn't know you had a car, Mr. Johnson.
Self-drive. I hire one in every town. Comes off my expenses. Expenses? That reminds me. I should have collected £50 yesterday. Good morning, Mrs. Forrest. Your husband not back yet?
Not yet.
I must just get my hat and coat.
Good, I'll hang on for you.
Eastcote Hotel? Yes, Dr. Forrest. She's coming now. Mrs. Forrest, you're wanted on the telephone. It's Dr. Forrest.
Thank you. Hello?
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling.
I'm catching the 5 o'clock train tomorrow. How are you, dear?
All right, thank you. Have you settled everything?
Yes, the old man's lending me 800, so I'll be able to accept Nathan's offer.
I'm so glad. Peter?
Yes?
Couldn't we go away somewhere together before you start work?
Yes, why not?
I thought perhaps I could pack up here and join you.
Well, I must get back, darling. There's still some business to settle. I'll tell you what. We'll get away when everything's fixed up. All right?
All right.
Bye, darling.
I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Well, my idea is to give the poor kids a party here. I thought we could have a whip round and, What's the matter with her?
She's crying.
Probably had a tiff with her old man.
Well, what do you say, Lawton? Sounds a very good idea.
It's a worthy cause.
I should be glad to,
Whatever you can spare. We can buy a bit of bunting, a few presents, then have a sing-song later on in the evening. Oh, we were talking about the children's party, Mrs. Larkin.
Oh, yes, Mr. Lawton, the poor little orphan children. I think we should all join together and give them a really bumper party, don't you?
I can do a few conjuring tricks.
And I believe Miss Ackroyd sings.
Oh, God open. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll start the ball rolling. I'll shove in a couple of quid.
And I'll provide all the food.
And I'll be very glad to contribute a little something.
Good egg. Then we better start the list.
I'll get you a sheet of paper, Mr. Pickett. You shall be the treasurer.
Right-ho. And mind I don't do a bunk with the funds, eh, Lawton?
I'll just pop upstairs and get some money.
What shall we head it?
Call it the Children's Party Fund.
Isn't that a little political?
Well, then make it the Children's Party.
Won't you sit down?
Oh,
Would you like to see the paper?
no, thank you. Where is everybody tonight?
I think some of them are at church.
Yes, hard to know what to do with one's evenings.
It's very hard when you're on your own. I think most of the people here are rather lonely.
Are you?
I miss my husband.
Of course, but that won't be for long, will it?
He'll be back tomorrow. You see, it's the first time we've been parted since we were married.
Oh. How long have you been married?
6 months. Just after he took his degree.
I'm sure you must be very happy.
Yes.
Ah, well, there we are.
Yes, I never remember having a nicer day, Mr. Johnson.
Neither do I.
Mind you, I do feel just a little bit guilty.
Oh, why?
Well, you see, I always go to church on Sunday evenings. I never miss.
Well, of course, I'm not a regular church girl myself, and I have my own little creed, you know. Do unto others as you would be done by. Hi, Lawton. Good evening, Mrs. Forrest. Don't move anybody. Come and sit over here, my dear.
You can have my chair.
No, stay where you are. Mr. Johnson has been telling me all about his sheep farm in Australia. It's most interesting. How many sheep did you say you had, Mr. Johnson?
Oh, about 20,000 head. Oh, I thought we were going to have the pleasure of your company this evening, Mrs. Forrest.
Good night.
Oh. Well, I think perhaps what we all need is a little drink. What do you say, Lawton?
I'm afraid you won't get one here.
Oh, well, I suppose you can't have everything. Sniff of sea air, charming company, and, if I may say so, one of the nicest days I've ever spent.
Oh, thank you. Has been nice, hasn't it? quite unexpected.
If you don't mind my mentioning it, that's a very fine imitation you're wearing.
My pearls? Imitation?
Well, don't tell me they're genuine.
I should think they are.
They're beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes, they are lovely, aren't they? They were given to me by my mother.
Yes, they really are beautiful. Almost too good to be true.
Well, if you hold them up to the light, you can see the colors there.
Can I? Exquisite. Oh, good heavens.
Whatever's happened?
The thread snapped.
Oh, well, mind you don't tread on them.
Oh, lucky thing it happened in the house and not in the street.
I suppose you're right. It's a terrible job getting them graded onto a new thread.
Don't you worry, I've got a friend of mine in town who'll do them for you in no time. And give you an unbreakable thread, too.
Oh, but I think I can get them done here.
Now, you leave it all to me. I'm going to London tomorrow anyway. Now, I'll take charge of those. Thank you, Lawton. Now, I shall need a small box. Oh, yes, I've got one in my bedroom. Now, make certain they're all there, and I won't be a moment.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Lawton. I think that's a lot now.
Miss Ackroyd, do you think it wise to let that man take your pearls?
But why ever not?
But you've only known him a few days.
Mr. Lawton, there are some people one seems to have known all one's life.
I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to give offense.
That's quite all right.
Ah, there we are. That's the girl. Now, you just leave everything to me.
But you will take great care of them, won't you, Mr. Johnson?
My dear girl, I'll look after them as though they were my own. Well, good night, and thank you again for a wonderful day.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Please call me Alec. Well, good night, my dear.
Good night.
Well?
I haven't any money, Alec.
You haven't tried, have you?
Go and tell my husband if you want to. He'll probably give you the best thrashing you've ever had in your life. Now let go.
What are you trying to do to that girl?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am. Look here.
Oh, go jump in the sea.
Any bracing?
Yes. Mr. Lawton,
Yes?
have you a cigarette?
I'm awfully sorry. I'm afraid I don't smoke.
That's all right.
Mrs. Forrest, I've been thinking about what you were saying last night about people being lonely.
Yes?
There really isn't any need for it.
Aren't you lonely?
I was very lonely. But since I'm retired, I've had more time to take an interest in things going on around me. You know, the reason that people are lonely and unhappy is because they will keep things locked up inside them.
You mean their problems?
Yes, their troubles.
People don't want to be bothered with other people's troubles.
You're wrong there. You were going to confide in me just now, weren't you?
Yes.
Well, go ahead.
You can't help me.
You're frightened, aren't you? Johnson?
How do you know?
I've noticed things.
I don't think you can do anything, but it would be a relief to tell somebody.
Oh, good.
I met Johnson 2 years before I married Peter. I didn't realize what he was until one day the police came for him. They arrested him on a charge of housebreaking. I tried to give him an alibi, but the police broke it down. When they questioned him, he said that I had helped him. Luckily for me, the police didn't believe him. After that, I only saw him once, in prison, to tell him I was getting married.
And you didn't tell Peter?
I was too ashamed. That's all there is. I'm glad I told you.
How much does he want? Whatever it is, you must pay him. Get rid of him. I'll help you.
No,
I'd like to help you.
But why should you? You hardly know me.
I've always wanted to do something useful, something quite different from anything I've ever done before. I've always wanted to make somebody really happy. Let me help you, please.
Oh, you frightened me.
My dear Hilda.
Really, Alec, you got them mended for me. How very kind of you.
It's a pleasure.
Well, come and sit down. Tell me all about London. Did you have a successful day?
Yes, very. I think I pulled off a very good deal.
Oh, so pleased.
So, how about a little, celebration?
But what sort of celebration?
Well, a little dinner somewhere, a little wine, and perhaps a little, dance.
I haven't danced for years.
And I'll tell you all about the deal. As a matter of fact, I'd like to ask your advice about something. How soon can you be ready?
I'm ready now, really. I've just got to get my coat.
Good, I'll go up and get it for you.
Thank you. You see, Mr. Lawton, you were quite wrong about Mr. Johnson. He brought them back tonight.
I was never so right about anybody in my life.
But how can you say that? Don't these prove that you were wrong?
Are you sure they're the same pearls?
Of course. Mr. Lawton, I've a good mind to tell Mr. Johnson what you said.
Why don't you?
Who's that?
Alec. Well, what's the score?
Have you got the letters?
Right here, sweetheart.
If I give you this, I expect you to leave town.
You'll have to trust me, won't you?
Will you give me your word?
Absolutely.
These all you have?
Yes, all I have. How did you manage to raise this?
Does it matter?
Not at all. How soon can you raise some more? Oh, I can give you 2 or 3 days. I'm not planning to leave town yet. You see, those letters had a certain sentimental value for me, so I had some photostatic copies made. You can have them for 100 quid. You know, I'd love to know where you got that money from. I think you must have a sugar daddy.
Everything all right?
No.
You mean that...
Well, what do you think of it?
But how much would you need?
Oh, only 1,500.
It's a lot of money. It's really all I've got.
Now, look. I'll guarantee you'll double it within 6 months.
Well, I don't know what to say. I'd have to look at my bank account.
Now, don't you worry your head about financial matters. You just pop along to the bank in the morning and leave everything else to me.
Well, then...
By the way, I've got a little surprise for you.
Alec, you shouldn't have spent all that much money on me. Oh, Alec, really?
No, perhaps not. I'll tell you what, we'll keep it our own little secret. Let's put it on the other hand.
All right, well, I'll take this off. Can't wear two.
No, it would look a little ostentatious, wouldn't it?
Alec,
there we are.
Simply lovely.
I'll take charge of that for you.
Oh, but I can put it in my bag.
No, don't you worry. I know what you women are with jewelry. You'll only lose it. Much safer with me.
Yes,
Bill, please, miss.
7 of them.
They all check with these serial numbers.
Extraordinary coincidence, eh, Sergeant?
It's definitely some of the money stolen by that chap, Paulson.
And yet they were passed by a well-known crook. When did you hear about this Johnson fellow?
Well, the London police got in touch with us the day before yesterday. They said that they believed he was on his way here and that we should keep an eye on him.
They may still be in town. Check all hotels and boarding houses, advise the railway station, and tell the constable on duty to keep his eyes open. He may try to leave.
Very good, sir.
Good of you to buy the presents, Lawton. Very nice touch.
Must get the rest of them wrapped up.
It's a pleasure.
I say, look at these. Whatever do I look like? Here's one for you, Mr. Lawton.
He looks like old Bill.
And we could do with some more newspapers. There are some in there.
Right.
Can you manage that light all right, Mr. Pickett?
Yes, thanks, Mrs. Larkin.
It looks quite pretty, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does.
Have you got all the newspapers you want, Lawton?
Yes, thank you.
Good, so have I.
Mr. Lawton, we're waiting.
We must hurry. The kids will be here any moment now.
We must get the piano in.
Evening, Miss Ackroyd. What do you think of our decorations?
You look charming.
All right.
Yes, I got half.
Half?
Well, I don't think I should draw it all out at once, Alec.
Don't you trust me?
Well, of course. It's just I feel I'd like to have a little something left in case...
Would you mind?
Good voice down.
Yes.
Well, I mean, in case anything happens to you.
Yeah, I see.
If you come up to my room in a few minutes, I'll give it to you.
That's my angel.
Alec, you remember what you said about our being engaged?
Yes?
You did mean it, didn't you?
Yes, of course.
Well, then, couldn't we announce it tonight at the party?
Well, isn't that just a little bit old-fashioned?
I'm sorry. Perhaps it is.
Now, look. Let's concentrate on one thing at a time. We want to get our future fixed up first, don't we?
Yes, Alec.
Now, you just leave everything to me.
Yes, Alec. I'm sure you know best.
I'll be back in a minute.
Right, old chap.
Miss Ackroyd. Miss Ackroyd.
Yes, Mr. Lawton.
I do wish I could convince you about that man.
Are you referring to Mr. Johnson?
Indeed I am. If only I could tell you what I know about him.
I'm quite sure you can tell me nothing about Mr. Johnson that would interest me in the least, Mr. Lawton, thank you.
Yes, but I...
Oh, so you want to tell her about me, do you? Why don't you tell her about yourself?
Please get out of my way.
Now, I wonder why you took that moustache off. You know, I ought to exercise my sense of duty and turn you in. But I thought of a better idea. We'll split 50-50 and keep our traps shut. What do you say?
Come into my room. On one condition, that you get out of town and leave Mrs. Forrest alone.
You're in no position to make conditions with me. I had a hunch you gave her the money. She must have spun you quite a yarn. You're not doing too badly for an amateur. You string along with me over this and I'll see you all right.
I shall have to think about it.
Well, don't think too long. 8 o'clock's the limit.
What are you going to do about Mrs. Forrest?
Oh, don't you worry about that, little... I'm going to have a few words with her old man. It's about time you found out about her. I shall enjoy seeing her squirm. See you later. 8 o'clock, remember? Have you seen Dr. Forrest this evening, Mrs. Larkin?
No, but he should be here any moment now. He promised faithfully.
Good. Ah, just the person I wanted.
I'll get it for you now. I'll come with you.
Figgis has been telling me how generously you subscribe to our little party, Mr. Lawton.
That's quite all right.
I'd like to thank you for making these little children so happy.
Thank you.
One for you and one for you. Now I think it's time we have a kissing. Come along, children, round the piano.
Round the piano, everybody, Peter.
1, 2, 3.
Here we go round the Mulberry Bush, the Mulberry Bush, the Mulberry Bush. Here we go round the Mulberry Bush.
How do I know you won't give me away?
You don't. Well, what are you waiting for?
I was thinking about what you said this afternoon.
What?
You said if I string along with you, you'd help me. I was thinking we could help each other. I've got ideas. Why don't we discuss them?
Not changing your tune, aren't you?
I know which side my bread's buttered. We're both on the same side of the fence. Why can't we work together?
I don't got much on that. You're on the run.
Oh, things will quieten down then. They won't catch me now. You didn't recognize me, and you were here, next to me, all the time.
So that's it.
I might have known you've got something up your sleeve. Very convenient if I were to die, wouldn't it? Especially for Mrs. Forrest. A fat chance you've got. Get out of my way now! Get out!
I'll just take this up to the room, darling.
We're police officers. May we see your register, please?
Sing a song of sixpence.
Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 4 and 20 blackbirds sing in a
All right, Johnson. Take it quietly.
You fellow idiots.
When along came a blackbird and picked off her nose.
Well, that accounts for most of it. He didn't get much out of it, did he? Johnson seemed to have had the lion's share.
Could I speak to your wife?
Johnson won't worry you anymore, darling.
You knew?
Yes. Before I married you. You'd better go and see Mr. Lawton. He's asking for you.
How was the party?
Went off fine. Never. You'll never know.